This is Jenny Brandt with Unleash Your God-Given Healing. Today, we're going to look at 6 reasons laughter is the best medicine. And here is a great example. After receiving the worst news in my life, that I had a deadly and aggressive stage 4 breast cancer, immunosuppressive hormones were going off all over my body. The news was so hard to believe that I actually told my doctor I wanted to see that MRI to believe it myself. So he took me back in his office and he flashed that MRI on a larger-than-life screen right there in front of me. Oh, that view was horrifying. It looked like a tornado had invaded my body. That was terrible, terrible news. But about 5 days earlier, my husband and I had made the decision that with the bad news I was getting, we wanted a second opinion, and we arranged a second opinion at Cancer Treatment Centers of America in Chicago. Right after I got that bad news, literally several hours later, we were on our way to the Atlanta airport for that second opinion. We got on that plane to Chicago, and we were in the twilight zone. We went between talking and crying and shock and dismay. And when we arrived, the cancer center was sending a driver to pick us up, which was good because we didn't want to navigate Chicago traffic late afternoon and night. When we came down the escalator, we saw our driver holding up his sign, and as he gathered our luggage, a young man came over to me, and he said, "I'm supposed to go with you," meaning you and your husband. And I said, "Oh, okay." So I asked the driver, and the driver said, "I'm just here to pick up the Brandts." Well, he insisted, "No, I know I'm to go with you." Well, the driver called his supervisor and asked whether he was to pick up anyone else, and they said, "No, you're there to pick up only Mr. and Mrs. Brandt." And when he told this to the young man, he insisted a third time, "I'm here to go with you." Well, finally, I put my hand on his shoulder and I said, "Young man, I don't know you, but do you know where we are going?" And he looked up at me with no clue. And I said, "Young man, we are going to the cancer center." And in a flash, he disappeared. And I looked over at the driver and I said, "Well, I guess he doesn't want to go to the cancer center." I don't know if he thought we were going to have fun or what. And I said, "You know, come to think of it, I really wish I didn't have to go to the cancer center." And my husband butted in and he said, "I wish I didn't have to go with my wife to the cancer center. Wish we weren't in this situation." And the driver said, "You know, I lost my wife to cancer 10 years ago, and I've been driving for the cancer center ever since. But I wish I didn't have to drive people to the cancer center every day. I wish there was no such thing as cancer." And I started laughing. I said, "Who wants to go to the cancer center?" No one. We laughed all the way to where the car was, got in the car, and off and on the entire 45-minute journey to the cancer hospital in the hotel next door. The driver, my husband, and I laughed. You would not believe what that did for us that day. We had the weight of the world on our shoulders, and that relieved much stress in our bodies. We ended up sleeping that night when we otherwise wouldn't have slept. We slept like babies. Laughter is good for the soul, and it shows up in the strangest, just the absolute strangest of places. And I have no doubt that God placed that young man right there in our path so we could have a good laugh that would relieve much stress. We're going to look today at 6 reasons laughter is the best medicine. And the first one, you just heard a great example of. Laughter reduces stress and cortisol levels. According to a meta-analysis of many studies, laughter is linked to reduced cortisol levels, thus reducing the harmful effects of stress on the body. As I told you, it just took the weight off of our shoulders. It helped our bodies to relax. That laughter promoted healing and relief from stress. Number 2, laughter reduces heart disease. Now, this is according to a study in Brazil. A recent study in Brazil found that chuckling expands heart tissue and promotes the flow of oxygen in the body. This reduces heart disease. Laughter was also shown in studies to improve the health of those who already had heart disease. The author of the study said this: "Our study found that laughter increases functional capacity of the cardiovascular system." When you're in the cancer journey, guess what? It's a lot of stress on your entire body, on your heart, on your lungs, on your brain, on your nervous system. And the best thing you can do to relieve that is to laugh. You'll learn other things you can do in my book, but it's so important. It's okay to laugh. It might be good for your heart. Reason number 3, laughter boosts the immune system. Now, this was found in a study at Loma Linda Medical University in California. They found that just 1 hour of watching a funny video increased the activity of a person's natural killer cells, B and T cells, and immunoglobulins, with results lasting up to 12 hours. These are important components of our immune system. Blue Cross Blue Shield, my insurance company, graciously offered me the use of a nurse as my guide through a program they have for cancer patients. Must have had a pretty bad diagnosis for them to call and offer this. I had gotten to know Nancy on the phone. This was something they offered complimentary to me. And after my second surgery, when I had the most stitches, she flew to my home to meet me. When she came to the door, of course, I opened it and welcomed her. But I said, "Nancy, I just need to ask you one question. Do you by chance have a weapon in your briefcase?" And she looked at me like, "Why would I have a weapon in my briefcase?" I said, "Well, considering I'm your newest $1 million cancer patient, I just thought that I might be worth more dead than alive." Very quickly, her demeanor turned from disgust and horror to, "Oh, this woman has a sense of humor." And she was grinning from ear to ear, and she said, "Oh, Jenny, you and I are going to get along just fine." Laughter is one of the best things you can do in the cancer journey. It will only promote healing in your body. So keep it up, girl. Number 4, laughter increases longevity. Yes. According to a 15-year study on the link between a sense of humor and longevity, involving, you ready for this? Over 50,000 men and women. Norwegian researchers discovered that laughter actually helps a person to live longer. The findings showed that women with a strong sense of humor have a 48% lower risk of death for all causes, including a 73% low risk of death for heart disease. Men with a strong sense of humor have a 74% lower risk of death from infection. After my first surgery, my younger brother Jack had business in Chicago and decided to rent a car and come up to the north side of Chicago and check on his older sister. Now, Jack and I both have a keen sense of humor. I had just been released from surgery and sent over to the chemotherapy infusion lab, not for chemotherapy, but for a vitamin C immune boost. Thanks to my surgeon for ordering that. So as I'm sitting in the chair receiving this, and Jack and I are joking and having a good time, and my husband has to get up and go run an errand. And then it was over, and the nurse unhooked me, and as I got up and turned around, I caught a glimpse of myself in a mirror. I hadn't even looked in a mirror. I had been in surgery all day long the day before. I had slept overnight in a hospital. I hadn't thought one thing about my hair. I had crazy hair. And so my brother said, "Oh, don't worry." He pulls a comb out of his pocket, he hands it to me, and as I'm brushing my hair and trying to take the crazy out, and frankly, it wasn't doing any good, and I gave up and gave him the comb back, I started to giggle. I said, "Imagine me with crazy hair in a chemotherapy infusion lab where no one has any hair. And soon I'm to be one of those people." And I said, "What am I worried about?" Well, I started to laugh, and then Jack started to laugh, and then that made me laugh more. And next thing you know, we are holding our bellies. And I'm holding my bellies in my stitches so that I didn't hurt myself because we were laughing so hard. Well, my husband comes back and he says, "I can hear you two laughing all the way down the hallway. What is so funny?" Well, I started to tell him, and as soon as I did, I started laughing, and I couldn't talk. And then my brother said, "Oh, I'll tell him." And then he couldn't tell him because he was laughing so hard he couldn't talk. It took us 2 hours that day to stop laughing enough to be able to tell my husband what happened. And finally it was my brother who was able to do it. He said, "Your crazy-haired sister has crazy hair, and she's worried about what she looks like with a center where everyone is bald." And so we just kept on laughing. We laugh this day every time we bring it up. Jack and I will probably live longer than most people would expect. Why? Because we both have a keen sense of humor. And it's a good thing to have in the cancer journey. Yes, it's related to all this underlying stress of realizing, yes, I'm going to be bald soon. Why am I worried about hair? But laughter does heal the soul. Number 5, laughter can decrease cancer cells and the size of cancer tumors. According to research, laughter can increase the number of lymphocytes, natural killer B and T cells, which all help prevent and fight cancer. My oncologist warned me right up front before chemotherapy, "Jenny, go ahead, set up an appointment to get fitted for a wig. You will lose every hair on your head, and very quickly. And also get some other things to put on your head because a wig is not always comfortable." So I went for a wig fitting with my friend Becky Oliver, who is also a cancer survivor. And then my husband and I went to Sally Beauty Supply, the first time we have ever been there. And what are we looking for? A do-rag. So we're in Sally Beauty Supply, and I'm looking up and down the wall at all the different rags that I can put on my head, and I just began to chuckle. My husband said, "What's so funny, honey?" I said, "Well, we've known each other for 50 years. Did you ever think that we would be shopping together for a do-rag?" And my husband said, "What? No, never in a million years." And we both started laughing, and we could barely make it to the checkout counter to buy our supplies from laughing. Well, we got to the cashier, and she's pulling up each supply, pricing it, putting it in the bag. She gets to the do-rag. She holds it up. She looks at it. She looks at my husband. She looks at me, kind of wondering without saying anything, which one of you is going to wear this and why? But we didn't say anything. We just started giggling all the way out to my husband's truck. And when we got into the truck, we just lost it. Who would have ever thought we'd be shopping for a do-rag? Number 6, laughter triggers the release of endorphins. Charlie Chaplin, known as the best comic of all time, said this: "Laughter is a tonic and a relief for pain." According to research, laughter causes your brain to release a flow of endorphins, which, as I already mentioned, supercharges your immune system and helps to fight cancer. According to scientist Dr. Mike Adams, he said when you laugh, you actually generate about $10,000 worth of healing biochemicals at no cost to you. And these endorphins help you to feel good. The cancer journey is not an easy journey. But you know what? Laughter helped my husband and I to survive the cancer journey. My cancer hospital knew the value of laughter in any medical situation. They actually offered laughing therapy classes for those who wanted it. I attended many of their classes. However, this was one class I could do on my own. It just comes naturally to me. We know from the research that positive emotions boost the immune system, and all negative emotions do the opposite. They suppress the immune system. So anything you can do during any medical or health journey or cancer journey to boost the immune system is only going to help. Oh, I believe God Himself has a sense of humor, and He expects us to have one too. In Job 8:21, it says, "He will yet fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with shouts of joy." It's okay to laugh during the cancer journey. It's good for you to have that release of stress and emotions. And now you see today the 6 reasons that it benefits your health. I hope you've enjoyed the information in this video today, and I hope that you will subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and share it with those you think need to hear the information in the video. Also, you can click on the 3 dots and click the notification bell so you will be notified when I make new videos. Yes, it's okay. It's okay to laugh. It's good for you to laugh. So laugh on during the cancer journey. God bless.